Hey you guys, Dino Gomez here, a founder of Seven Figure Visionary, as well as the host of the Secrets of Coaching podcast on iTunes. And in today's video, we sit down with real estate expert Susan Park to discuss how she grew her coaching business from zero to $38,000 a month in just 8 weeks. It's all coming up in today's exclusive client interview. What's going on, guys? Dino Gomez here, and welcome to another episode of Popcorn and Wine Fridays. Although, Susan, I think we forgot popcorn and wine today, but that's okay. We're going to carry on, and we have an amazing interview lined up today with a seven-figure visionary client, Miss Susan Park. Susan, what's going on, my friend?
What's going on, Dino? Super excited to be here.
Yes, and I am super excited to chat with you today and to share so much value and insight with the community. Just so you guys know what we're doing right here, we're talking about how Susan went from zero niche, no coaching experience, not sure how this was going to work out, to all of a sudden within I think it's been 6 or 7 weeks, generating $38,000 in cash collected. That is cash in bank account. Not necessarily like sales.
No, can I correct you? Not 6 and 7 weeks. It's more like 4 weeks-ish. 4 weeks.
More like 4 weeks. Okay. Yeah. You did better. I love that correction. I thought you were going to be like, well, actually, I've been working on this for 4 months. So, but 4 weeks, zero to $38,000 cash collected in 4 weeks. And she's not in a business niche, which is so critical because I hear that quite a lot. I used to think that way too, is like, oh, you have to be in a make money or in the business coaching niche. Susan is not. She is in the real estate niche. So we're going to talk about how she did all this, all the cool things. So Susan, welcome to the show. Let us know, give us some background a little bit. What were you doing prior to launching and getting into online coaching?
So I've been in the real estate investing niche. Oh, well, let me not call it a niche. I've been a real estate investor for over 10 years. So I live right now in Central America. So I live in Panama. I moved here 5 years ago. And prior to moving here, I know, I like the laptop lifestyle.
Yes.
Prior to moving here, I was a developer. So I built homes. And by the time I moved here, we were building multi-million-dollar homes. And on top of that, I was importing home improvement products from China and not only using it for our rehabs and our own projects, we were selling containers to other developers and wholesalers or other developers and basically real estate investors. And then when I moved here, we did what's called real estate wholesaling almost full time. And yeah, and that's what I was doing prior to, getting into the coaching business.
Gotcha. Awesome. So this background, there's a lot of components to that of what you were doing previously, besides just the wholesaling with, you had distribution, you bringing in products, you were doing a lot of different things. Okay. And then out of nowhere, right? For everybody that's listening in, that's thinking of becoming an online coach or has been considering it, or maybe they just started themselves. Why online coaching? Like, how come you're just like, okay, well, I really want to get into this, especially when you didn't have a niche figured out yet, but you knew I want to get into online coaching for some reason. Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Definitely. So I've been wanting to be, I wouldn't say an online coach per se, but I knew I wanted a digital business, right? And that was before moving to Panama. So even when I was an investor back in the States, I've always wanted to do something online because it just the expansion of it, right? It's not a local market. I can go global. And so I've been wanting to do it for such a long time. I just didn't know how to get into it. And on top of that, it's scary, right? It's scary to think that you're going to be putting your knowledge out there. And the possible criticisms, the backlash, everything that you think is going to go wrong, like that held me back for a really, really long time. And I was trying, and it's so weird because when you're close to something and you're doing something and you're good at it, you don't recognize that. And it's so true in
Right.
my case, because I was doing real estate, and although I could have gone directly into real estate and started, coaching in that particular niche, which is what I'm doing now, I was thinking nobody wants to learn that, right? I didn't think I was good enough in that niche. And so I was looking for something else completely differently. So when I moved to Panama for like, I think 2 or 3 years, I started learning online marketing because I'm like, I have nothing to teach. I have no knowledge. I was like, so let me learn online marketing so I can do something with that. It's so weird. And then it didn't dawn on me until later. That's like, oh, wow, I have this thing that I can teach. It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And I love what you said there too, because I waited 2 years too long to get into online coaching. Always wanted to do it. And so my excuse, like the way I like got myself, and I wish I wouldn't have wasted away years waiting, but I was like, you know what, I'll move to YouTube and I'll create free videos and do it on YouTube because I was so afraid to charge for it. And so I was like, I'll start being on YouTube and I can teach people things that I know there, and they shouldn't get mad at me because it's free. So there's no reason for them to get mad at me, right?
Absolutely.
And then I started to figure it out that, and this is interesting, right? Like I was like, at some point somebody's going to approach me and be like, do you know you're now qualified to become a coach? And a year went by, 2 years went by, and I was like, when is this going to happen? And then I realized nobody jumps out of a bush and goes, you're ready to coach. The day you step forward and go, I'm a coach, and you start charging for your services is the day you become a coach. So
can I actually add something there? When I found out, like, hey, why don't you do real estate? Was on a freaking call with Willie before I joined your program, right? So I had 2 calls with him. And the first call I went on with him, it was the same story. I was like, I have no niche. I was like, I'm not good at anything. I was like, I don't know what to teach, right? I was like, so I don't know if I'm fit for your program. I was like, I've taken Dino's course before. He's amazing. I was like, but I don't know if I'm fit for your program. Okay. And then that particular call, it didn't go anywhere, right? And then I bought your other program, the coaching launch. I was like, let me see if I can figure out my niche here. I did that, and it was great, but I still didn't really quite move forward. And then I reached out to Willie again to schedule an appointment. I was like, because something was like tugging at me. I'm like, I'm ready to do this. So let me do something with it. And then, so I reached out to him the second time, and it was on that second call, he kind of got me clear. He's like, so what do you do right now? I was like, I'm in real estate. I was like, I do real estate investing in the States while living in Panama. I do it virtually. And he's like, why don't you do that? And I'm like, because I'm like, no. I was like, because I don't think people would be interested in that. And it was like, he kind of opened my eyes and then started like, you can do this he was actually the one who gave me the idea about like, people are interested in knowing how to find real estate deals. And I'm like, I'm good at that. I'm like, that's what I do in my business. And he was like, I think that's your niche. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't think anyone's gonna buy that. And so it was on your call where I got clarity for that. If not, I mean, who knows? I would have been probably still trying to figure out, or like literally like just been like, okay, I want to do it. I just want to do it, right? With no clarity. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's super cool to hear. I think that's a big compliment, because normally you hop on a like enrollment call for a program and they just ram the program down your throat. And we really try and add value on those calls so that you can see that progression. So that's awesome that Willie helped you identify your
completely. Yeah.
niche there. And then, so that was kind of your thought process prior to joining, was like, okay, I don't know if I'm qualified. I don't know my niche. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know, do I need certifications? Because I'm excited to chat with you. You've done such an awesome job inside the mastermind, documenting your mindset and the different things you're working on as you go. And you set this lofty goal for $50,000 with your first ever grand opening of your program.
Oh, no, 50 sales. 50 sales. It's actually, yeah, like, can I put it out there? I wanted to do $125,000 on my first launch. 50 sales.
Epic.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know we talked about this, but I did, I think like 8,000 on my first opening of like my Facebook ads program. And I was like prancing around the house. I was like elated. So to see you come out of nowhere and do $38,000 in 4 weeks is insane. And we're going to talk about too, how many your audience size, because I know people are probably like, well, she must have a huge audience, or she must have run ads, but you ran no ads. How many members are in your Facebook group right now?
Now I have 1,200 people in my group. Okay. And I grew that since I joined your I joined your program. There was like a month period when I couldn't do much with the program. I think I built my audience now, like probably in 2.5 months or so. 3 months, let's say 3 months, 3 months from scratch. It's like brand new from like, yeah.
Amazing. So you built your audience up and then you did your launch afterwards. So that makes sense. So 1,200 people, it's a good size audience. It's not massive though. It's not 5,000. No. It's not 10,000. And again, no ads run. So when Susan says $38,000 in cash collected, that is in profit. Yeah, there's no ads. It's just you right now too, right? No team members for the coaching business.
Oh no, there is. I have so in my real estate business, I have team members. I have 5 VAs and I have an acquisitions manager. So the acquisitions manager helps me just with the coaching calls to answer questions for people.
Cool. Yeah. Brilliant. So you're incorporating his or that individual's expertise as well. Absolutely. Using that as in terms of your program too. Mm-hmm. Okay. So no organic, no ads, 1,200 person audience. And what was the mindset at this point? Because I know we were talking and you're like, okay, well now how much should I charge for my program? How do I get people to sign up? Do I just send them a link to sign up? Do I do a sales call? What was your thought process as you go into the launch here? Can you walk us through that? I remember being really nervous, really excited. Like, I was like, I don't know if it's going to flop. I don't know if people are going to buy. I don't know if what were you thinking at that stage prior to the launch? And then we'll talk about the actual launch strategy a little bit after that.
Yeah. So prior to the launch, super nervous, really doubtful. Right. I'm like, who would buy from me, right? At the price point that I wanted to charge. There are people out there like Grant Cardone, right? There are some intentionally, I try not to be involved in the investor community because there's a lot of negativity, right? A lot of you can't do this or that can't be done. That's not possible. And I think probably one of my, the reasons for my success is that I protect my mindset a lot, right? So I don't like all of that bullshit coming into my bubble. Yep. Because, let me figure that out for myself, right? Let me try it, let me fail. And if it doesn't work, then it hasn't worked for me. But I was like, there's all these big people out there, like who would want to buy from me? Little old me, right? I'm not doing, I don't have like a massive business or, this, I'm not a public figure. So there was a lot of doubt. And of course, the idea that it took me this long to try to do something and I launch it. And if it doesn't go well, what do I do from there? Right. It was like the uncertainty and the doubt. And it's like, okay, like shit, if I try this and it doesn't go well, like I'm back to square one. And that terrified me, right? Like to be like, let me take that step and if it doesn't work out, where am I going to go? So I think I kind of lingered there for just a little bit, but I was like, you know what, screw it. Let's just do this. Let me just follow the success path, right? That you took and just trust it and just go. So that's what I did. Even with the fears and the doubts. And I said, let me just go.
And what's funny is I've seen a trend for those that just follow the blueprint. And even if you can't see where it's how it's supposed to work or why it would work technically. It's like that belief system that you have in yourself and otherwise your mentors or who you're working with to just do it. So thank you for sharing that, because if you're listening in here, how many people have self-doubts at times, right? Comment down below if you've experienced imposter syndrome before. I know I have, where I'm like, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm qualified. Do I need a certification? I don't know if my audience will like it. What if they don't like the program? Like all of these looming thoughts. What if nobody buys? I put so much time into putting this together. And so boom, you come out with your launch and you're super excited. You're like, Dino, I'm all set. The launch strategy, right? It was a certain amount of strategic posts and content in a certain order, to let people know that you're opening your program. And the way it works, right, is people will comment if they're interested, and then Susan will private message them. So it goes content, identify people that are interested, messenger, from messenger onto a sales call to enrollment. All right. And so but you like, I remember when you came out with your posts, you started following our model of the content to drip out, and you had a ton of people interested. Everybody's like, I want this. And you came back and you're super excited. You're like, Dino, look at this. There's like 50 or 70 comments. Like there's so many leads here. You're like, I'm going to like crush this. And I was like, I know you are. And then what happened, Susan? Then you're following up with them in Messenger, and then the energy changes really quickly. What happened there?
Are you talking about like when they're not booking the calls as much as I thought?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You're all excited because so many people are interested in your group, and
oh my God,
the content was working to drum up interest. And then like 2 days later, you're like, Dino, I'm in Messenger with like 50 leads and none of them have booked a call, or it was something like that.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. So it was just bad expectations on my part. Right. And so like, there's all these people who are commenting that they're interested in this thing and my beta program. And I'm like, oh my God, like I never knew I can get all these people interested in a free Facebook group with just a post. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay. This is amazing. And I'm redirecting everyone to my messenger. And I really thought that because they raised their hand and said, Susan, I'm interested in your program, that 100% of those people were going to book a call. Yeah. Right. And so I went in there and I was like, yes, I heard you're interested in my program, book a call with me. And literally nobody booked a call. And I freaked out and I was like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Like, what is going on? And yeah, it was crazy. I went back into the Facebook group and I was like, dude, Dino, what the hell am I doing wrong? Like, what's wrong with me? I think that was a post.
Yeah, no, that was a post to everybody. You're like, I have so many leads and none of them are converting to Messenger to actually get on a call with me. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, or are my expectations wrong? And then we asked for some screenshots of your Messenger conversations, and we won't talk about what you were saying and how we changed it, but the approach was completely wrong in Messenger. And so we cleaned up here's like the Messenger flow that you should be using. And then all of a sudden calls started coming in. Yeah. And through the main part of your promotion of your new program, you were booking like what, 4 or 5 calls a day suddenly?
Yeah. So I had 4 or 5 calls booked every single day. And wow. And then it got to a point where I was like, oh man, like it's like, I know it's like, I can't feel sorry for myself. It's a good problem, but I was like, wow, it's just like, it's a lot, because I still have, in addition to the coaching program and everything, I'm still like, still marketing or doing the posts for the beta launch. And then I still have a team that I have to manage. And then, I got kids and stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, I was like, this is just really overwhelming. And then I had to put the coaching program together, and I haven't even started on that. So everything was pretty overwhelming, but in a good way.
Yep. Well, I mean, you're super mom. Like, you're doing this like from Panama, different time zone, 2 kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
2 kids, husband. You're running a full real estate business remotely as well. We have team members. You have a lot going on through all this, and then you have 4 or 5 sales calls a day on top of everything else. So good problem to have. I think everybody here would be like, I want 4 sales calls a day.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. And then we moved. So now we moved down the chain. We figured out the marketing piece to get people interested. Then we
Yeah.
figured out the messenger piece to get people excited and willing to book a call. And now, then all of a sudden, you started getting 4 to 5 calls per day. And then it was funny because all of a sudden, then I get a message or we see it in the members only mastermind Facebook group, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm booking 4 to 5 calls a day. It's working. But then the calls weren't going so well initially. And then we move on to the next problem, which was the sales aspect. And I remember you submitted to us your sales, what you were kind of saying on your sales call and so forth. And I completely butchered what you had. I was like, nope, none of this. And what happened from there? We completely redid your sales framework, and you went for the emotional highs and lows were like this. It was like, first it's working, then it's not, then it's working. But we kept making adjustments. You kept making adjustments. What happened with the sales part?
Yeah, with the sales call, I think I had gone on. I don't even remember, because I had, like, from that point till now, I've done quite a bit of sales calls. But the first few sales calls, I can feel, right? It's just, I can feel that something wasn't connecting, right? And I was like, okay, obviously, if you feel that it's not connecting, it's not going to go anywhere. So I was like, okay, shit. Okay, now, like, I get sales calls, but I can't close people, right? It's like there's a disconnect there. So I said, okay, guys, now I have people booking calls, and it's like, but I can't close them. And so you asked me for my slides, and then you took a look, and you're like, oh, hell no. You're like, no, this, no, that, no, just do this, do that. And I was like, okay, let me just follow. And then, yeah, so I completely edited my slides like an hour before my next sales call. And then I closed that first sale.
I remember that because I think it was a Thursday or Friday night. And because of the different time zones, you dropped off at like 9 p.m. or something like that. You're like, I need my sales presentation fixed. Like, I have calls tomorrow. And I was like, just about to go to bed. And so the next morning I did it really quick. And I think you got it, like you said, like an hour before your sales call. And then right after that, a notification comes through, first one in. And what's the emotional experience like when the first sale came in? Like, what happened with the mindset shift? Because, like, you're in the back of your head, right? Like, you're wondering and thinking, is anybody gonna buy at this price point? Several $1,000s, and I'm not a Grant Cardone yet, but I think you certainly will be. All these things. What happened? How'd the mindset change go, and how did you feel at that point?
I mean, obviously I was like over the moon. Like, especially because it took me 3 years to even get to this point, like, mentally, right? For me to be like, I have something of value that I can give. So to get to this point and to have that first sale, I was like, wow, this is possible. And not only is it possible, it's possible without ads, something for free, right? And I don't have to pay like $2,000 to get somebody on the phone. I'm like, that's amazing. And they just closed. And yeah, so it was absolutely, it was crazy. But it's so funny because I think every step of the process, right, there's always something else that comes up. So I think in business, and I find this in my business as well, in real estate, it's never smooth. It can be in flow and it can be nice, but there's always going to be challenges, and there's just one more challenge kind of like across the way. And so even after I closed, like, with every challenge, like, we solved it and we kept moving forward. But even after we closed it, and then came another doubt, which was, for me was, what if I can't deliver, right? Or the people can't get the results that I want them to get, right? And I was so afraid, and I still am, right, of disappointing people, right? Like, of them not getting results. And I don't want to carry that weight. Like, people trusted me and I'm not able to give them what they wanted from me. that I was like, suddenly that weight was on my shoulders. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is great. This is beautiful. I was like, but man, what if I can't deliver? What if I'm not what people think I am?
Yep.
You know? Yeah.
Yep.
So that was
next level problems, right? Because first was like, well, you know, I don't know what my niche is, and then that was figured out, and then I was like, okay, I don't know, like, I wonder if anybody's going to even be interested, if my marketing's going to work, and then it's like, okay, they're interested, the marketing's working, nobody, now my messenger conversation flow isn't working, and then after that, it's like, okay, now my sales isn't working, and then after the close, it's like, well, am I going to be a good coach? And that's next level problem. And then as your coaching business continues to blow up and grow, because again, like when we were chatting, I haven't heard of anybody doing $38,000 in their grand opening of their coaching program. Like I haven't. We've had several clients go from 0 to $1 million, and they didn't have that type of first program opening. So like, you are going to be huge. So for everybody listening,
it's so funny because I feel like, oh, what if this is a fluke, right? There's, you know, because right now, like I'm in that process where my first coaching call was yesterday, and oh my God, I was so freaking nervous. I was a sweating, blushing, freaking mess. But
did you record it?
I did.
Yes. Okay.
I did.
Record it.
I promised people I would record it. So I did, and I'm like, holy shit. Do I even want to upload this? But I had to.
Yes. And make sure you save it in a Google Drive folder for your own safekeepings. Like whenever I want a good chuckle, I go back to my YouTube channel and I will look at videos that I did like 6 or 7 years ago. I'm like, what the hell was I wearing? I was like, I thought that was fashionable. I was wearing like these big glasses and like, and my voice, I feel like even changed. I was like, I wasn't like a teenager then. Like, why did my voice change? Like all these things. So as you move on, you can look back on that first coaching session. You can be like, wow, did I really grow?
Yeah, the growth.
Yeah, I think it's really a healthy thing for everybody listening in because oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we're growing so much, we don't even realize our personal development and growth because we're doing it day in, day out. And then a couple months go by, a year go by. If you just look back at what you were doing, you're like, wow, I didn't even realize how much I changed because you're so focused on the present and where you are. So you'll have fun looking back on that because a couple weeks from now, you'll just be like, you know, you'll be cruising on those calls.
I don't know about that. It was nerve wracking. It was my first ever coaching call ever. And I'm like, I'm like, wow, I can't believe these people paid me to listen to me. I'm like, that's just crazy.
Yep. And it's normal thought process, but that's what's so cool is that you're powering through all of the different mindset blocks along the way.
Sure.
And you're just taking imperfect action, which is just so massive in the online space because, everybody has the self-doubts, the fears, the what ifs, and Absolutely. They're everywhere. Like if one of the what ifs I've always had that held me back for a long time is like, should I post on social media like our client results? Like me talking about you having a $30,000, $38,000 month as a brand new coach, having just figured out your niche. Like 4 years ago, I would be super like nervous to post that because I'm like, well, I have family members and friends who, you know, kind of barely make a little bit more than that over the course of a year. I was like, should I be talking about clients doing these numbers in a month? That was like my own mindset issue. Is like, are they going to judge me? Are they not going to like me anymore? All those things. And it took me a while to get over it. And then I went for it and nothing changed. It was just all in my head. So it's interesting. So thank you for sharing that, being vulnerable and so forth with that. And so, so tell us, Susan, because I think everybody's interested. And I want to make sure they have a chance to find you and stuff like that as well. But tell us a little bit about your program and your Facebook group and where people can find you. I'll also drop a link down below. And if you guys listening in have any real estate related questions or coaching questions for Susan, drop those off. The comments are loading a little slow for me on my phone. So we might have to circle back around. But tell us about your real estate stuff and your program.
Yeah, sure. So like I said, I am in so obviously I can't develop anymore. I live in Central America, and my main market was Los Angeles. And so in order to rehab homes, I have to be there, manage it. So it's not going to happen. So I do another part of real estate investing called wholesaling, real estate wholesaling, where we basically flip contracts. And so I'm not teaching the entire process of wholesaling. What I'm teaching is showing people how to find real estate investment deals, because from doing this for over 10 years now, I realized that if you want to make this a business and not a side hustle, right? Then the first thing that you have to know how to do is get a deal, right? Because if you don't have a real estate investment deal, you have nothing. But if you know how to find a deal and find it consistently, then the exit strategy becomes better. You can wholesale it, you can rehab it, you can do buy and hold. So my entire program focuses on how to get consistent real estate investment deals every month. Because like last month alone, my team brought me 22 contracts. That's almost unheard of in the investing niche. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I teach.
Amazing. See, I don't know what you're talking about. You articulated that perfectly. Like, I think I don't know much about real estate. I've been studying it a little bit the last like year and a half. But yeah, you explained that really, really well. Because again, it's not my space. I don't understand it at all. But okay, so you teach how to find deals, because you guys find deals consistently. And then what's your Facebook group as well? Like, what's your Facebook group name? You remember?
Secrets to Killer Real Estate Investment Deals.
Boom. Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what you do. So, yeah. Secret to Killer Real Estate Investment Deals. We'll link it up down below so that people, if you guys want to hop on over to Susan's group, if you're interested in learning about real estate. Susan gets about 22 deals a month, and she has her team find these deals for her and her husband and their business.
Oh, that's a huge thing. I mean, so like, just to kind of add to my story a little bit, my whole thing is about, I love freedom in my life, right? So my whole thing is, I have VAs. I never find the deals. And it was the only way when I got diagnosed with cancer in October of last year, right? And I went through 6 months of chemotherapy. Obviously I couldn't work, right? But my business never stopped because I had a team. So I show people how to find deals on using VAs. So that's basically what it is. I forgot. That's an important part of it.
That's a big part of it, because I think everybody loves to not work.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, I enjoy work as well, but I think I should have said they like their time freedom as well. And so
absolutely,
that's amazing that your VAs find the deals, and then you sit back and decide which deals are keepers, and then you go ahead and grab them.
No, so like for us, so we wholesale contracts, so we flip contracts. So anytime we get it, we just send it out to a buyer's list that we have, and we try to find basically a buyer for that particular property. So it's like we get like it's like a consulting fee-ish for finding that deal.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So you guys aren't tangibly buying the real estate. You're going, here's a really hot house on the market at a great price for all the things, all the
exactly. And we have it under contract, and it's just kind of like, they pay me a fee for them to take over that contract, basically.
Gotcha. Dude, that's cool, because then technically you don't need a ton of capital to. You
need no capital. And this is another place where even experienced investors kind of like tell me all the time, like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, but we never even put deposit. In the 5 years that I've been in Panama, we've put, you always need to put a deposit when you purchase a home. We've only put deposit maybe 3 times in 5 years. We put no money, no capital, no credit. Awesome. So wholesaling is, it's like the gateway to real estate investing. So people get into it. We did it the other way around. We started as developers and rehabbers first, and then we had to get into wholesaling to kind of sell off the properties that we didn't purchase ourselves to develop. And so maybe that's why our process is more solid than other people for deal finding.
Yeah, because 22 deals in a month is insane.
Exactly.
Amazing. So it's funny to hear you casually say like 22 deals this past month and the VAs found them all. And yet, right, you expressed earlier still the mindset of like, am I qualified to teach this? And that's remarkable. So absolutely, but we all have those self-doubts and fears and what ifs and what are other people going to say and think? What if they don't like what I say? All the things. So Susan, let me know. Maybe you could share a little bit about this for anybody that's listening in. What are your biggest takeaways through this experience of going? You've been wanting and to launch a coaching business for like 3 years, but you had this limiting beliefs, the doubts, all the things. Now that you're doing it and doing it wildly successfully, what like if looking back on all that, what would you say to somebody who's like was in your position, like they want to launch their coaching business or they just launched it and they're going at it solo? Like what maybe mindset shifts or strategy shifts or anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, definitely mindset is, I think that's number one. And I know people talk about it like so casually, like, you know, like you got to have a strong mindset. But I think it's a lot harder to actually reach that, right? Because I had to completely overcome on my mental barrier to do this. And one of the things that I do religiously, like there's almost no day that goes by that I don't do this, but I have a list of what I want to achieve, right? On a sheet of paper. And then I put down who I need to be in order to achieve that. And I read that in the morning, right? I read that at night. And I also meditate on it. So I meditate for like 15 minutes and I visualize having the things and being the person. And I think I did that first, probably for about 2 months before even joining your program. So I got like my mindset fixed first before doing this. And I think for people, especially if they have a lot of fear around moving forward or failing, if they don't overcome that first, I think they're going to have a hard time because there's so many challenges that you will bump into along the way. And you need something to, you know, keep pushing you forward, right? So I would say, yeah, like that process I did, it's so easy, but it's a game changer. Like this video, I think I told you, you know what? When I joined your program, immediately that weekend was the retreat. Remember? And then in the retreat, I remember telling you guys, I'm like, you know, this video thing, I would have never, there's no way I would have got on video, but it's like, it was.
For everybody listening, this is, I think you shared, this is your first time on video.
On live. Yeah.
Online.
Yeah.
That's amazing because you seem super casual and confident in all the things. That's another note, right? You did $38,000 in cash collected in sales in your first coaching program launch ever with a 1,200 person Facebook group, no ads, and without doing a single Facebook Live or video.
Oh yeah. No, I have not a single live. No, but you know, I did do a video though. I did a video, but I pre-recorded it and I put it out. But it was in the what was that called? Your retreat, right? When I actually spoke and I had the video, I told you guys, I was like, I would have never been able to even get on camera, right? Because I was so like nervous and I don't know, like just so like filled with self-doubt, right? But it's really that mindset work I did prior for 2 months that allowed me to keep like to do that, to do this, to even create a Facebook group, right? So like before everything, I think people really need to work on it. Like there are people who can just do it. But if you're fearful and there's something holding you back and you cannot move forward, I like hands down suggest working on your mindset, visualizing not only what you want, but who you need to be every day, right? Reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And that will make it so much easier to like push through all the setbacks, because there will be setbacks. That nothing is guaranteed, but that's guaranteed. There will be setbacks.
Absolutely. Yep. With every new level, there's a new devil. Like when you're growing your business, it's just, you open up just new problems, but bigger, better problems. So yeah, it is consistent in that regard. So I love that. Yeah. You write down all the things you want to achieve, and then who you need to become in order to achieve those. And then you visualize and meditate on, already having achieved those things.
Yeah. So I read that list morning and night religiously. And then in the morning, for 15 minutes, I sit down and I visualize having the things and also being the person I need to be, which is being able to be on camera, being able to coach, right? And doing it confidently. Like I hear people, and it's so crazy, like the things that I've been able to manifest. I'm not going to go into it here, but in one of the visualizations, like I said, I was so nervous about people not getting results from my program. Mm-hmm. And I just visualized over and over again, you know, the people telling me your program is fire. It's like, it's amazing. Like, that's a great program. And guess what? Like, you know, one person asked for a refund, but right behind that, some guy, you know, like somebody who's in my coaching program, he actually wrote me an email saying like, your program is legit. It's fire. And I know I'm doing a split pay, but I want to pay off the whole thing. And I was like, wow. Yes. And that's the thing though. No one really says like, oh, that's fire. But he's like, oh, it's fire. And it's
verbatim of what you were visualizing.
Completely verbatim. But then the thing is like, I tend to manifest some crazy stuff through my visualizations. I'm like 1000% believer in it. And that's why I like there's not a day that goes by that I don't do it. But in addition to the things I want, I am visualizing who I need to be. Like I visualize having fun on the videos. I visualize, you know, coaching people, but with ease. And it's made it so much easier. So much easier.
Yep. Yeah. I well said too. That's such a cool practice of writing down what you want. Then that's a step I think a lot of people miss. Is after you write what you want, who you need to become. So you start taking the action required to get the results that you're looking for. I think that's just massive. But I'm with you, my friend, on visualization and everything, which is why this is the Visionary program. I think it's just massive. It's been a game changer for me as well. And so, Susan, thanks so much for hopping on board here. We'll do the final question here because I know we're almost at the hour mark, and I want to respect your time as well. But to anybody who's out there that is an aspiring coach, or maybe they're a coach that's, you know, trying to get things off the ground, but they're not going quite yet. Like, what's one piece of advice you would give to them that can help them take them to a new level in terms of like what they should do?
One piece of advice. I would say just take the first step, right? You don't need to know everything. You don't need to even know where you're gonna completely like it. Like the goal doesn't have to be perfect, right? As long as you know vaguely where you want to go and you know that first step, take that first step. It doesn't even need to be massive. Like for me, it was like, you know, let me start with a Facebook group, right? He said, start a Facebook group. So let me do that. So I started there. And then I was like, okay. He said to do a Facebook banner this way. All right, so let me do that, right? So I never overanalyzed the 10th step without taking the first step. And then from the first step, I only focused on what is the next step and what is the next step. And then there was just massive momentum in the little steps that just kind of like added to what it is right now. But that's what I would say. Don't think about the 10th step and, you know, before taking the first one. And with the first one, just only look at what the next step is and then the next step. With always like seeing your kind of like the big picture goal of where you want to go, and then just taking one step at a time.
Brilliant.
I think that's probably the biggest one.
Brilliant. And that's great advice, because that eliminates and minimizes if anybody here experiences overwhelm. I think naturally everybody does to a degree, but if you are subject to experiencing it more so than others, you got to chop down your to-do list and you just focus on one thing at a time. And that's exactly how you went through the program. You're like, boom, 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 boom. And then the momentum and confidence, like you said, builds, because after you're 3 steps in, you're like, wow, my audience is already starting to build. This is already starting to happen. Now I'm clear on my messaging. Now I'm clear on my offer. Now I'm designing my program. Now I'm getting ready for my marketing to start. And then just on down the line. And so cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. And Susan, thanks so much for hanging out with me on a Friday.
Thank you, Dino, for having me. Thank you for having Willie and having this program. Yeah, I've made my investment back and then some. So that's always great.
Very quickly too.
Yes.
Record setting. But that's it's epic, my friend. Super, super happy for you. And everybody listening in, make sure you follow Susan and what she's doing. Again, she's a millionaire coach in the making for sure. Again, I haven't seen anybody come out of the gates and do that with 0 ads, first program opening ever. So amazing, amazing. Thank you for your time again, Susan, for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And for everybody else catching the replay or anything else like that, drop comments down below. We'll circle back around to those. We'll drop off Susan's Facebook group, so you can check that out as well. And if you guys want a quick plug here, if you guys want to learn about 7-Figure Visionary and our results, or you don't pay a dime offer, just comment down below. Special offer. We can tell you about that. That offer only extends to a few people each month. So it's first come, first serve. So that's my plug. That's what we got. That's the interview. Thanks again, Susan, for being here. And I hope you all have an amazing Friday.
All right. Bye, guys.
Hey you guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video here on YouTube, and afterwards go ahead and click the link in the description of this video to go ahead and register for our free weekly live mini workshops, where every single week I break down exactly what's working to grow our online business so that you can follow along and do the exact same thing in your business. You'll also have a chance to connect with me there, ask any and all questions about what you're struggling with so that we can give you direct feedback to help you grow your coaching, your consulting, or otherwise your online agency business. All right, so click that link in the description, guys. We'll see you on our live weekly mini workshops, and otherwise, look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.